Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Brian Akeem. Today is May 1st, so happy May 1st. Let me know if you guys can hear me. So, yeah, guys, it's been around a month since my last live stream, since the Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live finale. And yeah, just like I said, let me know if you guys can hear me all right. Um, but yeah, so you might be wondering why I'm doing a stream about this. Well, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Spoilers if you have not seen the movie, but if you haven't seen it, then what are you doing with your life? Go, leave the stream right now and go watch it because, yeah, I mean, it's like the greatest animated movie of all time, and I don't want to spoil it for you. I mean, honestly, yeah. So all right, let's get started. I absolutely love this film. So amazing. It's well written. I agree, Zombie Killer. This movie just destroys so many others when it comes to storytelling, characters, writing, villains, animation, etc., etc. It's just absolutely insane. All right, so let's start the stream. I'm gonna invite some people from Discord. Go online.
Oh,
Hey, man, what's up?
so yeah, this movie, I love this movie.
Same, same. Let me just let Walker Dead know the stream. So how are you doing, man? Hot day for
Good.
you? It's pretty hot right now. Whew. Spring weather. My goodness. Whew. But yeah, man, I saw this movie, late 2022 when it came out. Honestly, in my opinion, like I said, it's the best animated movie of all time. Like it's definitely up there. Like it is a perfect 10 out of 10. There's legitimately no flaws I have with this movie, which is just so crazy. It's like because like I'm a very critical I'm a very critical critic when it comes to entertainment, and the fact that I'm like, yeah, this legitimately has no flaws, which is, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you guys have seen me with The Walking Dead. It's like even when I enjoy it, I'm like, yeah, this was lazy. This could have been done better. Had some problems with this, but it's like no, for this movie, it's like it's perfect. Like there's no flaws with this movie whatsoever. I mean, the villains are
I
amazing.
said, sorry.
Go ahead. That's okay. Go ahead.
I said it before. This movie has way better writing than The Walking Dead did.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's kind of crazy though because this is kind of made for kids, sort of, or at least that's part of the audience. And it's like The Walking Dead is supposed to be all adults audience kind of thing, and it's like wow, like it just really shows that, the writers, man, like, um, yeah, they're just not the same. Let me see if I can share my screen. Live streaming on YouTube. Where am I? Screens. Screen one. Capture. Okay, no. Let's go on. No, not that one. Maybe. Hold on. All right, so Walker Dead is not ready yet, so we're gonna give him some time. But yeah, this movie is amazing. Like I said, 10 out of 10 movie, 11 out of 10 villain, and the other villains are pretty good too. So yeah. By the way, guys, let me know in the chat what do you think about the movie. Please give me some questions. It could also be about the Shrek universe or whatever because I think Shrek 5 is going to come out. So okay, yeah. So moving on. Let me just show you. Hold on, let me share my screen. Do I have noise suppression mode? Noise suppression mode is on. Let me share my screen. Man, I guess this one. Select something to stream and have a friend grab a seat. General. Man, which one am I doing? I guess this one.
Hmm.
Change. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Go live. Oh wait, there
Hey,
we go.
Brian.
Yeah, can you see? Okay, cool. You can see my screen, right? I'm sharing my screen.
Well, it says watch stream. I can see that.
Watch stream. Can you click on? Do you see the live, the red live tab?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. Um, so yeah, okay, so moving on. Okay, yeah, do you see what I'm on right now? In my opinion, who not only the best villain, possibly in entertainment history, but also the best character in the movie. So like you can probably take a guess who it is.
The legend himself. Yeah,
Which legend?
death.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely him. Absolutely. There's no question about it. Def is my favorite character in the movie and the villain, and I just love this character so much. Like, do you have any idea how many videos, tribute videos, reviews, whatever? Um, I mean, he has ringtones. Like his whistle is a ringtone too. Like, I just love the fact that first off, his design is amazing, obviously. Okay, and then like seriously, just like in my opinion, have you ever like had have you how many times have you felt this in a story where like you look at the villain and you're like, oh, I he terrifies me like legitimately because I don't think there's very many villains in stories that like most villains are kind of like this villain where it's like, oh, they're not gonna kill them, they're not I don't know. It's just one of those things where sometimes it feels like, oh no, the main character has too much plot armor for the villain to kill him. And it's like, not in this case. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, like I said, Death is the best villain in my opinion. Oh, wait, let me just go to
Again, I
settings.
find it kind of funny how Puss is the title character, and yet we gush more about death than Puss himself.
Yeah, but to be fair, like there's a couple reasons for this. One is because Def has like way less screen time, which like his quality is just, in my opinion, his quality is just so much higher. Like, hey Josh, good to see you. I love this movie. Yeah, me too, man. Like this movie is one of my it's literally up there in my top animation movies. It's like it's the most current one, so it's like kind of my favorite. Like I enjoy this more than Spider-Verse and Spider-Verse 2. Like you know what I mean? Like I enjoy it more, but like I still think those movies are great. It's just that I think this is better. Like you know and yeah, I mean like I said, normally in stories you're just like, oh, the villain, how many twist villains do you see Disney making where it's like you have this character that pretends to be nice to the protagonist and then it's like, oh, plot twist, he's a villain. No, with Def he doesn't need to do a plot twist because he is Def, like you know what I mean. It's just he's the best villain of all time because like he's not fooling around, like he's not trying to trick Puss. Like he was there the whole time. And also, like I said, when you make a villain that's terrifying to the audience and to the main character, it's like, oh yeah, you did it right. Because I'm sorry, like seriously, how many times like think about all the villains we've had in the Walking Dead universe. Like I'm sorry, like let's be honest. How many villains have you had in we had in the Walking Dead universe where it's like, oh yeah, no, they're not scary. Meanwhile, you see Death, and it's just like, oh my goodness, he is terrifying. Like seriously, the fact that a kids movie can have a 11 out of 10 villain, whereas stories for adults like just have like mediocre villains. Like I said, it's just crazy in my opinion that it's like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
Okay.
well, I mean, Negan was kind of intimidating in season 7, episode 1.
Yeah, kind of. I will admit that. I'm not saying that he's never. I'm saying that like I'm not saying that like The Walking Dead has never made us scared of a villain before or had good villains. I'm just saying that in terms of how often it's been, definitely not too often. Um, which yeah, honestly, like also this yeah, also this is like one of my favorite shots from the movie. I mean, my goodness, man, that is terrifying. When Dev puts the coin on his eyes. I mean, I love Dev's whistle because obviously it's similar to the Savior's. So it's like one of those things where it's like, oh well, it's not. It has been done before. A villain with the whistle and all that. But what I'm basically trying to say is, it works with this character so well, and like you know what I mean. Like this is how stories work. You perfect a villain. You know, you have good villains like the governor from the Walking Dead main show, and it's like no, let's continue to work hard on villains. Let's perfect them. You know what I mean? Instead of just going for the bottom of the barrel kind of thing. Do you have
And
any
hey,
negatives?
Bri.
One second, man. Josh asked, "Do you have any
Mm.
negatives of the movie?" No, Josh. Actually, surprisingly, not a single negative in this entire movie. Some people might say, "Oh, I wish Def had more screen time." It's like, no, I kind of like what they did a bit because he has so little screen time that every scene with him, it's not played out too long. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the perfect amount. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, like also a zombie killer. Like, how crazy is it that when Def is in, obviously we're gonna go to the beginning of the movie to you know end, but how crazy is it that Def like re-kills Puss's eight lives, like you know what I mean, in the cave. Like, how crazy is that? Like, if you think about it, Def as a spirit, because this is his physical form, he's already killed Puss technically 8 times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how legitimately crazy is that in a movie to have? Like, if you think
Hey,
about it,
Bri.
like, yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say, like you probably didn't know this, but during the scene where like Puss is battling that giant, like whatever that giant statue thing is. Well, if you pay close attention when he's like freaking doing that trick in the air and it cuts to the crowd, you can see death there. You can see him.
Exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, which just once again, there's something cool about a villain that's like that was there and the main hero, the main character never even noticed. There's something so creepy about that where it's like the villain was there and the main character didn't even know. Like there's something about that in stories that I really like. Um,
And another thing, going back how you were talking about twist villains earlier, Disney, they did that in Zootopia. Bellwether was a twist villain.
yeah, she was. I don't hate the movie or the twist. I just saw it coming so much. Like, it's so annoying in stories where you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna do a twist villain in this movie. Where it's so nice in Puss in Boots though, like where you have first off, we have 3 villains technically. You know what I mean? We have 3 villains, and none of them are twists. Think about that. Jack Horner is not a twist. He's just a scumbag, an absolute selfish scumbag who doesn't care about anything but himself. Goldie
A
is,
psychopath.
yeah, he's a psychopath. Goldie is a very misguided and, um, slightly selfish young woman, girl that just wants a normal family. You know, she believes that that's something she needs to be happy. And then meanwhile, Def, like who, like I said, is not just the best villain in the movie, but he's the greatest villain of all time. He doesn't want anything in this movie except to kill Puss. Like that's it. He doesn't care about the wish. He doesn't care about any of the other characters. Like at all. They're not even he doesn't even acknowledge them pretty much. Like, you know what I mean? That's how insignificant they are to him, which is just like I said, this makes him such a great villain.
And again, I'm not trying to beat up on Zootopia. That's another great movie, but the villain in that movie was kind of weak.
Yeah, I admit the movie was weak. Definitely, I'm hoping in Zootopia 2 they do something where it's like, hey, they introduced the villain in the beginning, and it's this like wolf character, um, and like there's no twist. Like he's just the bad guy in the movie. Like we see it, there's no twist. He's the bad guy all the way through. Like I kind of hope they do that. Like you know what I mean? Where it's
And
this.
and just yeah, like me personally, give me this wolf any day over the wolf we got in the Shrek films.
Yeah, I agree. This is the true big bad wolf. Like man, it's so good. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, man. I feel like Def set a new standard for villains. Like honestly. Um. Hey Rick. Have you seen this movie? Thank you for coming, man. Hey man. Rick, do you like DreamWorks movies? Yeah, yeah, Rick. Let's see. Yeah, I've watched them before. Yeah, Rick, what are your favorite ones? Have you seen this movie? If you guys have not seen this movie, I really don't want to. Well, I mean, Josh, you've seen it, but Rick, if you have not seen this movie, please, I don't want to spoil it for you. But yeah, man, I just love the fact that this movie was like, hey, let's literally create the greatest villain of all time in a story. And some, like I said, some people say he's not a villain or whatever. But like I said, I mean, oh my goodness, the design with the character, the weapons, his voice. I mean, the voice actor did such a great job, honestly, with him.
Iconic.
Um, yeah, yeah, he's iconic, and same thing with other characters, and like, you know what I mean. He also like laughs a bit too. Like he's not all serious, which is just it's just adds to Def's character to his character. Which, like I said, I mean seriously, like like that's how good of a villain is. He's got layers to him, but he's also Def. Like Def has layers to him, which is just crazy. Um, like in my like I said, in my opinion, this movie is a perfect 10 out of 10, no flaws. The villain is like obviously the greatest thing to come out of it, but I do like the other stuff. I do like other characters, Puss and his journey, Perrito and Kitty, all their arcs. You know what I mean? And like the stuff like where it's like the action scenes, those are great, man. This is in my opinion, I feel like this is the future of entertainment now. It's animation. I don't think people want to see live action anymore. You know what I mean? Like, how many more live
You should,
actions?
you
How many
should
more
tell
live?
that
Oh,
to
go ahead.
Disney because they keep remaking all their movies in live action.
Yeah. By the way, I was scared in this scene too. Like, seriously, he's terrifying. Which is just like it's so crazy. And then also the way he leaves the story. Like I said, the fact that the magic doesn't affect him. Like I said, man, and the way he goes out whistling, it's like, man, dude, this villain was amazing. I love him as a villain, man. He's perfect. Um, no flaws whatsoever as
So,
a villain.
so other than death, how do you feel about Puss's character throughout the movie?
Really
No.
good, really good. Um, 1 second. Do you like DreamWorks? Yeah, I watched them before. It's been a while since I've seen the ones, but I remember seeing all the Shrek ones. Yeah, yeah, you might need to you might need to watch them again, Rick, because yeah, Rick, have you watched Kung Fu Panda 4? Make a mind sequel, a TV show. I think Madagascar counts. Yeah, I've seen the Madagascar ones. What were you saying, Zombie Killer? Did you say something?
I was gonna I was gonna say that in regards to DreamWorks films, Kung Fu Panda, like yeah, the Kung Fu Panda franchise, How to Train Your Dragon, they're all in my top favorites series.
Yeah, cool, man. I'm not. I love How to Train Your
Especially
Dragon. Yeah, I love How to Train Your Dragon.
especially How to Train Your Dragon, yeah.
Yeah. Um. All right, man. Okay, yeah. So what else about this movie? First off, the songs. The songs are great too. Fearless Hero. That's great. You know, that's a really good
Yep.
song in the beginning with Puss. Um. You know what I mean? I like how they set up the wishing star at the beginning. It's really well done. Like I said, this movie just does so many things well done. It's its own self-contained story, but it also kind of obviously still built on the lore. You know what I mean, with the Shrek universe, because hey, this is a a fantasy world, but then also it's like that's the cool thing about it. It's like it's fantasy, but also it's somewhat realistic, and um not to mention, yeah. So like I said, Puss's arc, very good. He's arrogant in the beginning. He's arrogant, cocky, and then the fact that you have Def just take him down a notch in the beginning, which was very interesting to see. They used a great animation and just one encounter with Def, and it's like, oh yeah, it's over. Not to mention, technically, he killed Puss if you think about it in with the bell thing. If you think about it in a way, which is just kind of crazy. Like I said. I don't know how the whole stuff works, but it's fun to speculate, But it's just absolutely crazy in my opinion. And then hold on, let's see. Kung Fu Panda, I've seen a while. Remember, it's been a while. But that's good, guys. Hi, Chosen. Yeah, thanks for coming, man. Yeah, Chosen. I think you said the movie's like meh. Like, what do you think they could have done better? Because I think it's a perfect movie, man. I mean, if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But like legitimately, what do you think they could have done to the movie in your for you to make it better? So yeah, um, so yeah, the characters in this movie are great. Also, another thing, Zombie Killer is this movie had a ton of characters, and they gave everyone screen time. Like think about that. They give Perrito, Kitty, Goldie, the Bears, Death, Jack, Puss, plenty of screen time. Like you know what I mean? Um, because normally in movies, it's like, hey, you only have an hour and a half or whatever, and it's like, look at that. They balance nine characters, more or less, like perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that wait? Let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Yeah, nine characters were perfectly balanced in the movie. Like that's pretty impressive. Like, you know what I mean? Because normally a movie with
Can
nine
I ask?
characters would be.
Can I
Go
ask you
ahead.
something?
You want me to leave the stream, Brian? I mean, if you don't mind spoilers, Rick, yes. If you can, that would be great. It's just that I don't want to spoil the movie. I mean, I might have already done that, but it really just depends. Like I said, man, this movie is just fantastic. Like, you have got to see it. I'm begging you guys. Like, if you haven't seen it, please watch the movie. Like, it's literally, in my opinion, the best animated movie of all time. Like, I wouldn't say that lightly. Which Puss-In-Boots do you prefer? The second one, obviously. Go ahead, Zombie Killer.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah,
Do you think this movie is better than Zootopia?
I don't know. I don't know. It's here's the thing. Zootopia. I like the world more than Zootopia. Like you know what I mean, the lore, the world, and stuff. I like that more. I also think I think also think there's more potential with the characters and stuff. So like the world, the universe, I like more in Zootopia. Um, and like the setting and stuff. But like Puss in Boots had obviously better animation and it had a better villain. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, but like I said, with Zootopia, I like the world better, and I feel like the cast is has more potential. You know what I mean? To like with Puss in Boots, it shouldn't be a franchise. It's like this movie's perfect, like and all that. But like with Zootopia, it's like no, that has to be a franchise. Like three movies, maybe a TV show. Like it's there's more there. So it's kind of hard to say. They're kind of tied for me. You know what I mean? By the way, Zombie Killer. Let me just let's see. Let me share my screen again. Um, I know you're
Like,
probably
like,
thinking,
like, I, I know this stream is about Puss in Boots, but like, I'm mainly trying to compare it to other stuff, other movies and stuff. You know?
yeah, I know what you mean. Dude, take a look at this. Look at how many. I wonder if I can show my screen. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Hold on. One second, man. Let me just display capture. Oh, come on, you stupid display capture. Let's see if it shows. Okay, let me see if. All right, that should be it. Hopefully. Let me just delete that. Yeah, I guess so. Um, yeah, okay. So like look at how many songs like they and tributes that people created for this character. Look at look there's reactions. There's like videos. Like look at this. Do you see this? Zombie Killer,
Yeah.
do you see this? All of this stuff. Look at that. Look at it's just crazy. Do you guys see that? Okay, this is not some, oh, this is a kids movie or whatever. It's like, no, this legit is like a rebranding of the Puss in Boots universe and villains itself. Like, there are articles online about how like, Death is like the perfect villain. Like I said, the fact that, you know, this attention is so good for oh, hold on. Let me get the image. I think I lost it. Dang it. This movie does wonders. Like literally, people are like legit. Like, dude, like we need to have more villains like this. We need to have more stories like this. You know. I mean, they took the animation from Spider Verse and were like, hey, let's put that in the Puss in Boots. And it's like, wow, they actually did it. And see what I mean? You see what hard work gets you? They took 10 years to make this movie. They worked on this movie for around 10 years. And look what the time does. Let's see. The movie is overcrowded. They should have focused more on Puss and Goldilocks. The fat bag is useless. Should have been removed. What I enjoyed was Puss One. It was enjoyed from Puss One is that it was about Puss and backstory. Oh, okay, interesting. Let's see. Fear the Walking Dead. No, it doesn't, Rick. This movie, Rick. I know you're joking, but this movie beats Fear the Walking Dead out of the water. Like infinity times. Like it's not even a joke, man. Like seriously, are you excited for
Yeah.
the Wild Robot? No, I'm not excited. I might check it out though. I'm not sure why about it. Also, I know you love Death, but like I feel like they do. I strongly disagree with you, Chosen. Like he's the best antagonist in the movie, and just like maybe entertainment in itself. Like that is not easy to do. Like being the greatest villain of all time. Like you have to be up there with Heath Ledger Joker, Thanos from Marvel. Like you got to be up there, man. Like you got to be quite the villain to get that spot. Like you know what I mean? It was legendary animation. It was so good. The animation wasn't bad, but it was a step down. I strongly disagree, Chosen. I think the animation was better in the second one because it looked more like a picture. It was more like a painting. Like the animation was so colorful in this movie. Like they and some people might say, "Oh, well, it was kind of choppy, like at parts." That's what the Spider Verse did. They make the animation kind of choppy to make it look like a comic book or something like that, like a picture, and that's what they were going for. And in my opinion, it did wonders because, like I said, with how the characters look, it just makes it look amazing. Um, the characters in Puss in Boots One, they kind of even the Shrek universe, the characters look kind of ugly. You know what I mean? Like they have that weird face to them. But the characters in this story, it's like wow, they look so great. Also, Puss's hat in the second. Isn't it the same hat? I don't know. I don't know, Chosen. I don't know, man. I respectfully disagree. I don't know I don't know how you have that. I don't know, but yeah, it's your opinion, man. It's just I don't see it. I don't see it.
Hey, Brian.
Yannick.
So one of my favorite line, like the scene where Death is literally destroying the previous lives of Puss. I literally love how Death literally calls him out and literally says says like your past lives, you didn't value any of them. Like I don't know, I just love that line that he's literally calling Puss out for that.
Oh yeah, same. I really enjoyed that scene too. It's just absolutely fantastic, and absolutely terrifying. Because yeah, man, you just can't. Like he is absolutely terrifying. Like, but not just that, he's also kind of right. Where like he's just like yeah, um. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can go to it. Hold on. Let me see if I can stream. Let me see if I can share my screen again. Share my screen. Go live. Yeah. So, like I said, the fact that he's so calm, like, you know what I mean, like around Puss's like lives, and just like destroys them one by one as he's monologuing. And some people say, "Oh, villains talk too much." It's like no, with Def, like he monologues the perfect amount. And like think about that. He's literally killed Puss 8 times technically. Like that's just insane. Okay, and now he's just doing it physically for the ninth, and he's taking it prematurely. Like, um, you know what I mean? And like obviously, yes, like I said, deaf. He teleports. Obviously, because he's deaf. It's just honestly crazy. Because deaf is the most simple concept for a villain, and yet like he just oh my goodness, he's so terrifying, and like just the way Puss realizes at the end. Because some people didn't realize this twist, and some people say, "Oh, this is not a twist. He's not a twist villain." Like if people didn't know he was deaf, like that's their fault. Like it was so obvious, and he just confirms it. Like you know what I mean. Not to mention the straight up. I say that constantly. It's not even funny, man. Um, you know what I mean? Like it's just absolutely crazy, man. Like I said, best villain of all time because like everything he says, the voice acting is amazing, and not to mention his design is incredible. Like I said, and everything he says is so true. And this is the part I think you were talking about, where he says that Puss didn't value any of his lives. It's like, oh yeah, that's true. Uh, it's just like, oh man, oh dude, it's terrifying, man, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. What number does this movie go as one of your favorites? I don't know. Good question, Rick. It's got to be like top five. It's got to be up there. I don't give very many movies 10 out of 10. A perfect 10 out of 10. But this is like up there, man. It is a 10 out of 10 for me. But I'm glad we'll see the cast in Shrek 5, most likely. Yeah, I hope we see them too, Chosen. I think we will. I think we'll get Puss, Kitty, and Perrito in Shrek 5. But they'll have like a second, they'll like be secondary characters or something, which I'm okay with. And normally I'm not excited for Shrek, but I'm like, dude, I am watching Shrek 5. Like, I want to see the continuation of, um, this, and not just that, but like, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, this is the best way you could do a spin-off of a character. You show one movie of their backstory, and then you show this, and then the sequel season or show or movie, whatever, it takes place after the events of things we've seen in the main series, but then it's gonna connect back into the main series because obviously Shrek is the main character. So, like I said, in my opinion, that's how you do branching off and connecting with stuff. And yeah, I'm sorry, just still, I love Dev as a villain. And also, Nick, this is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite shots from the movie. He's just like, it's just calm. I love how the Puss's life, the cheating one, is like, that's cheating, and then Dev's face, and then he just casually tosses the blade, and he's like, oh my goodness, the part. I love him as a villain. He's so terrifying, and yet he's funny at the same time. I'm like, I don't know what it is. Like, it must be so difficult to make a villain like this. It has to be so difficult. It had to have been so difficult, and yet they pull this off so well. And he just killed Puss's. And look at that! Like, he literally re-kills Puss again. Like, the 8 lives, like they're gone forever, kind of thing. It's absolutely crazy. Um, and not to mention his like growl or bark. It's just terrifying, man. And then also, when he turns the crystals to red, like, did you have goosebumps while watching every scene with Death? Because I did. Like, I am in my late 20s, and yet Death is scary to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is terrifying as a villain. The red eyes, the voice, the everything. It's just like, he is terrifying.
I
Like,
all like in that same scene. I also love the line when he says, like I'm not a cat person. I find the idea of 9 lives absurd.
yeah. Absolutely, man. But I'm glad we see the dog in Shrek 5, most likely. Yeah, okay, let's talk about Perito. I loved Perito. He was another great character introduced in this movie. I don't know. I just loved Perito as a character. Because he was so positive. Like, some people might say, oh, he's annoying and stuff. And it's like, no, in my opinion, I never found Perito even slightly annoying. He was just so adorable, and he knew when to shut up. And like, his lines are so funny. Like, you know what I mean. And not to mention that panic attack scene was so great, in my opinion. Oh, is someone here? Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Walker Dead. Thanks for coming, man.
Oh, yeah, you're
Hey,
welcome.
Walker Dead. Hey,
At the
Walker Dead. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out since I don't really know much about the topic, but still want to have a good stream, man. Thank you so much, Rick. Yeah, don't worry. In 19 days, I will be streaming with Dan and Megamat, about the ones who live. Like, so yeah, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. Take care, man. And I'll see you next time, man. Have a good night. Bye. Hey, Walker Dead.
But
Thank you
like
so much for coming, man.
Brian. Hey,
You're welcome.
Brian.
Yeah. What is it?
Like that line I mentioned like a few minutes ago about Death mentioning how he finds 9 lives absurd. How do you feel about that line? Because I liked it.
It's good. It lets you know that he has layers to him. Um, and yeah, man, I just love him as a villain and everything he says. Yeah, so Walker Dead, since I talked with Nick for the last 30 minutes in the beginning, I want to hear your thoughts on the movie, because you know mine, man. I'm gonna give you a quick recap. Um, 10 out of 10 movie. Like I said, man, 11 out of 10 villain. Death, in my opinion, like I said, he is the best villain of all time. Which, in a kid's movie, it's like, dude, you don't expect it, but like, I'm glad. Like, they took their time with crafting a villain. And man, it really shows. And this movie shows how great it is. So yeah, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a decent movie, and yeah, even if you know, even if you're not, I mean, even if you're not into like a kids movie, it's definitely a movie that's decent. It's a perfect example of really good writing, storytelling, and how much it how much of an example that if you take your time, the credit is going to pay off, and the story is going to pay off. And I feel like this movie was exactly that.
Exactly, man. Dude, 10 years of working hard, getting competent writers, and and like I said, no twist villains. You show the villain in the beginning, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, that's the villain, and you use him in in the story, and you don't get rid of him in the beginning. That's also a thing with villains. You don't get rid of him like in the beginning or middle of the movie. No, you keep the villain all the way to the end. So um, and like I said, I told Nick this. I was scared of death in this movie. I'm in my late 20s, man, and yet, like, death as a wolf, like in this movie, he's not just scary to Puss. He's scary to us, the audience. Which, like I said, in my opinion, that tells you how competent the writing is, how great of a villain they created. Because that's what you want. You want the villain to be terrifying, not annoying. You don't want a villain that's annoying, like certain villains that shall not be named, but we mentioned earlier. Because
Right.
yeah, it's just no, like you don't want to do that.
Exactly. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, man. Okay, yeah. So,
I
go ahead.
I did also enjoy all the scenes of Goldie and her bears. You know.
Yeah, they were pretty decent. Not my favorite trio or group, but I still like them. I prefer Puss, Kitty, and Perrito, the trio. I prefer that trio. But obviously, like the star of this movie was Death. Like, in my opinion. Oh, what did you guys think when Perrito cursed? When he cussed, like in the movie? Were you
I
legit
was
like
expecting that.
what?
I was expecting it. Like I was expecting him to actually say a swear word. I was expecting it. I was kind of caught off guard. I'm like, whoa. So he actually just. I was like, no way. Because I was expecting it. I'm like, damn.
Right. It's like this movie once again showed that, hey, kids are not idiots. You can actually make a good story and like do certain things in a kids movie where it's like, hey, you didn't think they could do it before. Like first off, let's say this, okay? There was blood in this movie, okay? Death he cut Puss a couple of times in this movie. There was blood in this movie. And it's like, you can't do that in the kids movie. And Death is just like, yeah, I can. And this movie is like, hey, kids can handle it. Like I said, this movie pushed what could be allowed for kids movies, and it makes sense. Like, you know what I'm saying. Like, you can. This
Yeah.
movie show that, hey, you can have blood in a kids movie. You can do that.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, I mean exactly. By the way,
Hey
hold on.
Brian,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to say, yeah, I just want to say that me personally, there were times where I did end up hating Jack Horner in this movie.
Well, I
Oh,
think he was
Jack
supposed
Warden.
to.
Yeah, he was annoying. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I get it. We're supposed to hate him, but he was. I hated him so much.
Right. Well, that's the point. What the movie was trying to do was it was trying to show you that hey, there are three types of antagonists in a story. There's the antagonist that they try to make redeemable. Like how many times? Okay, like raise your hands, guys. How many times do you see a story where they have an antagonist and then like they try to redeem them at some point. Whether or not they do it good or bad is not the issue. But how many times do you have a story where they have an antagonist and they have them be redeemed or something at the end? That's Goldie. She's the redeemable antagonist where she's on the opposite side, but she's not 100% evil. She's just doing something for a reason and all that. Meanwhile, you have Jack, who's a complete scumbag, and he's an unredeemable villain. He doesn't care about anyone but himself. And then meanwhile, you have, like I said, the best villain of all time, Dev, who is just an entity. He is literally deaf. Nothing can affect him. Nothing can, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't even want the star, like, the wish. Which I talked with Nick about this, Walker Dead. Do you know that, obviously this is just a theory going around, but did you know that when Puss got the last wish, when he could have wished or something, did you know that that the wishing star cannot really do anything to death? From what fans have speculated in the movie, there's a lot of evidence to support that. Hey, if Puss wished for Death to leave him alone, or Death is gone, that wish wouldn't work. You know what I mean? Because people said that
Right.
no, like the star's magic. Like think about that. The star that can grant any wish, it's like it doesn't affect the Death. Like it can't affect him. Like that's just so crazy.
Right. And yeah. That you're right. He Puss could have wished that, but like you stated, that wouldn't work. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, because to be fair, deaf is deaf, so it's like no matter what you do or say or wish, even if you were to wish that, it's not going to do nothing. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, that just legit just once again makes me love him as a villain even more because like yeah, not like even a star's magic, a wish like cannot do anything to him. And by the way, I'm sharing my screen right now. These are all like the tribute and rap songs with Def. Like it's just so crazy. Like these songs are very good. Like if you have time, man, like I really recommend them. You know what I mean? Like, look, you have people
Okay.
reacting to them. You have people reacting to them. It's just um, these songs, like I said, they're awesome. A lot of these songs are really really awesome. And then yeah, I was gonna go through this. Hold on, let me skip this ad. But yeah, I was gonna say like, do you have a favorite scene in the movie or um? I'm trying to remember, or if you had a favorite character, but like I told you already, mine was Death. Like he was my favorite character in the movie, even though he had like the
Hey,
least screen time.
Brian.
Hold on, Nick. Hold on.
Um, I think if someone was asking like, "Oh, who's your second favorite?" I would probably be like, "Well, I gotta say Death because he was actually pretty decent in the movie."
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. So what about? Oh, Nick. You got a question?
My favorite scene in the movie was the introduction to Death in the bar scene.
Oh, yeah. You like that? This movie did a lot of things well because like one thing is um they said that you hear the bell cling in the city, like you hear the bell cling 8 times or something like that, and then stops, and then you see the candles above Puss, and they go out, and there was just one left or something like that, and then Puss has 8 glasses, and then it's like I said, this movie pays attention to such detail. And also, seriously, there's something about, hey, this random guy showed up, Thunder. It's like some people knew it was Def, some others didn't. What about you, Walker Dead? Did you know this was Def himself, or did you like
I
Puss think he
mean,
was a
I
bad
had a
guy?
think. I mean, I don't know. Like at first, I'm like, okay, who's this character? But then you get the realization, like, oh, it's Death. It's like, oh, oh,
Right,
damn.
right. Did you like the?
Hey,
Did
Brian.
you like
Hey,
the? Be-
Brian.
Did you guys like the beginning where Puss defeats that giant? Because, like I said, it really the fact that Puss took down this giant with no problem or hardly any problem. Obviously, he died because of that bell. But you get what I'm saying. Like the animation was amazing, the fight scenes, the music, and yet like Puss takes down this giant, and it's like, and then Oh my goodness! And then Def just shows up, and he's like, "Yeah, hold my drink. Like, I'm gonna humble this cat. Like, you know, that thinks he's immortal. Cause like, yeah, that's what pissed Def off. He's like, no, you are not immortal. Like, cause think about it. I told Nick this. I'm like, technically, he has killed Puss 8 times already. If you think about it, like, it's just so crazy. It's like, dang man.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I kind of knew he was death, mainly the fact that when he asked Puss for an autograph, he literally asked Puss to sign on the word dead.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously. Some people still thought he was a bounty hunter, but yeah, like I said, dude, how Walker Dead they made a kids movie villain like terrifying. Like it's just, in my opinion, that's so amazing because, like I said, people think that oh no, kids, you can't traumatize them, you can't show them blood, you can't show them scary things. Yeah, you can. Like this movie showed that hey, you actually can do it. And like I said, Def is just absolutely terrifying as a villain. His whistle too. That's actually my ringtone. Fun fact, if you guys didn't know, in Walking Dead, that's my ringtone. Because every time
Wow.
someone calls me, so every time someone calls me, it's like, oh yeah, like I'm going to think of Def because I hate it when people call me, and it's just, I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny. Um,
Right.
Yeah. Was there? Oh, okay. So, did you like some of the other characters like Kitty and like their arc? Because I'm trying to think what was the funniest scene in the movie. I don't know. There's a lot of funniness in the movie, but I like. I don't know. Perrito is one of the funniest characters. He might be the funniest character in the movie. Um, I don't know what scene. I don't know. Maybe his interactions with Kitty and stuff. Remember the part where Kitty said, "I don't trust you. No one's that dumb. No one's that nice." I'm like, oh my goodness, I love Perito because the face he made, it was so funny.
Yeah, that was a little funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was funny.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the funniest moment in the movie for me was when Goldie and her bears kidnap Perrito and they have him in the middle of this giant, like, bear trap, I'm pretty sure, and he's just constantly annoying the hell out of them. But
Yeah,
I found that moment funny.
that was pretty funny. I will admit, but I don't know if that's my funniest scene. I don't know. Um, so yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, we get the montage of Puss's deaths. And like I said, by the way, Def has technically killed Puss 8 times now, which is just so crazy. Yeah, like I said, oh man, this shot from the movie, like how crazy was this shot? See, the movie did a good job with its colors. That's one thing I appreciate in this movie. It's like they changed the style and it works. It feels very comic booky, kind of like Spider Verse, and I'm like, it works so well. Um, you know what I mean? Not to mention, like, oh my goodness, that shot was so crazy. And then yeah, so anyways, moving on. Was there anything else with the movie you guys want to talk about? Did you like the panic attack scene that Puss later has in the movie?
Oh yeah,
Uh
where we're pushed like you what, and then that's like yes, and then the glass just breaks. I'm like oh,
oh
I
right.
got
Oh
little
wait.
chills there.
Wait, no, this scene where he says death. Dude, the fact
Yes.
that he's not even touching it. He's not even touching the crystal and it just breaks. Like, oh my goodness, seriously. Like, oh my goodness. I love it. Not to mention Death's sickles, man. They're awesome. Like as a weapon.
Iconic.
Like, oh yeah, they are. Um Look at, oh my goodness, when he whistled, when they were in the star and he whistled, and then like, I'm sorry, just look at Perito's face here. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like just like even he is scared, like and he's like not even, yeah, I don't know. It was just so well done. Like I said, um,
I find it kind of funny how Perdido was scared when that wolf wasn't even after him.
Oh yeah, because he's just scared already. Walker Dead. How about this scene? Remember when Puss kicked the goal down and he's like, he was people were chanting him and he shouted out his name and then just Death appears again, like in the crowd. Oh my goodness, I love this scene so much.
Yeah, and he's like,
I
gosh, smokes.
I
Here we go.
know, I know. And then like, oh my goodness, this is terror. This legit was terrifying, man. Like when he put the coins over his eyes, that's literally like you're dead. Like,
Yeah, that was one of the best scenes of the whole movie. I'm not even gonna lie. That was one of the best scenes of the whole movie.
oh, I totally agree, man. Like seriously, I have rarely ever felt this terrified of a villain. Oh yeah, and like I said, I told Nick this earlier. I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, I need to find that scene. But it was like, hold on, I'll get to it. But like I said, oh my goodness, he was just so terrifying, killing his lives and all that. It was so good, man. Like seriously, like he just created a fire too. It's like this villain. Like I said, there's no flaws with this villain. He's 11 out of 10. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he was the best part of the movie. But also, like I said, it's not just him. It's not just he everyone else is lame. No, no, I like everyone. Kitty, Perrito, all the characters. The music was good. And the way he comes back with Puss saying, "Fear me if you dare." Puss's arc in this movie was really good. Like I said, he's cocky and arrogant in the beginning. He gets humbled and scared by death. He gets tries to get his lives back, realizes he messed up, and then he fights for his last life without the wish. And then the way Death, like I said, he's got layers to him, man, because he's just smiling, he's just laughing, and you know what I mean. Like I said, this showdown was so good. You know what I mean? With Def and Puss. You know what I mean? It was so well done because like I said, the choreography in this animation scene were amazing, and then also like I said, come on, this shot too in the movie. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, man. It's like iconic.
Right. I like. I also understand. Like towards even. I know Puss. Does. I know he towards the end he does defeat death, but he's even like he says the same thing Death said to him. Like, "Oh, pick up the blade, pick it up." But
Uh,
the way Puss said it to Death, when Death's on the ground, now Death's on the ground, now Puss like pick it up, just pick it up. I liked that, and then I also liked it where Death's like, you know what, go live your life, just go live your life, but eventually you're gonna see me again, yeah. That Puss like, yeah,
oh yeah, like that once again shows that see the thing is that Def can literally still kill Puss at the end. Like, you know what I mean? Puss
right.
did get a hit in. It's just that Def is respecting his own rules again because now Puss values his own life. And like I said, the fact that he exits the movie with the whistling, it's just so well done. In my opinion, it's so amazing. It's so well done.
Hey,
Um,
Yeah.
hey, Brian,
yeah, go ahead.
do you think there's ever a chance that we'll see Death again?
I don't think so, but even if we don't, it's still great. And yeah, the fact that he had to say straight up he's deaf. Um, like I said, hold on. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this scene right here where it was like I said, I love this part right here. This part kind of cracks me up. He's saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take your last life now." When when this Puss life is like that's cheating. Look at his face. Look at his face here. It's like look at that. Look how he casually just tosses it and kills Puss's technically dead life. Like, you know what I mean? That he could have gotten back if he wished back. And it's like, just like his face here where he's like, don't tell. I'm just like, oh my goodness. I love this villain. Like I said,
Yeah.
he's perfect. There's nothing wrong with this villain. It's like I said, man, he's the best villain of all time. He's up there with Heath Ledger, Joker, and Thanos. Like he's up there, man, and he's the most recent. That's why I love him so much as a villain. And
Right.
there's something about like he even lets Puss go just to chase after him. It's like oh, man, there's something about a villain like that that's so terrifying. I love it, man. Like villains need to be like that in stories more. They need to be terrifying, not oh this villain can be redeemed or oh they're not so bad or oh no, they were misguided. No, like enough with that. How about a villain that's terrifying? Like, that has actual consequences in a story. That's what we need more in stories.
Hey,
Yeah, I
Brian.
totally.
Oh, hold on, man. You were saying?
Nah, I totally agree. Like we need more villains like that. I mean, not to go off topic, but in my honest opinion, I feel like we should have gotten something like that within AMC's Walking Dead universe. But well, as we know, it's not possible now. So just want to bring it up as an example.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few villains in The Walking Dead where it's like, oh yeah, they were really close, or they were really up there, or like really good villains. Now, in my opinion, none of them are death level, where it's like, yeah, 11 out of 10, but they're still great. Some of them are still really great villains, or really good villains, like Governor, Negan at the beginning, and then Teddy from Fear the Walking Dead. You know what I mean? In the beginning as a villain, like I'm like, no, these were still really good villains. Like they're not all the villains are bad, but yeah, a lot are really bad. Um,
Yeah.
it's just Oh, I think my favorite. I think the funniest scene maybe was like the beginning with Perrito. Let me see if I can share my screen. Um, yeah, I'm sorry, you guys, the
Hey,
audience
Brian.
can't see it
Boy.
because copyright. Hold on, you can go ahead, man. This is, I think, maybe the
No,
funniest scene for me in the movie.
no. I was gonna say, like, do you think death, yeah, do you think death from this movie is better than all of the villains from the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy?
Oh yeah, oh definitely. Oh, that was funny. Like I said,
Yeah.
this might be the funniest. This might be the funniest scene in the movie for me. Is just the introduction of Perito. Because, like I said, he's adorable, and I like everything he says and talks about. He's like, oh my goodness, and certain lines like, oh, I don't have a name or a home, and then it just shows unwanted. I'm like, oh man, this character, like, why are they making me laugh but also feel terrible? Like, there's just something about this character that I love, and the fact that he's not even a cat, he's like, I'm a dog, and just it's just everything. He's so happy, and he's just trying to be Puss's friend. Also, like I said, certain lines in the movie, I love this one where he's like, my story, like imagine this in Daryl Dixon or something. It's like, so what's your story? And it's like, my story, and it just shows all the amazing adventures he's had, and it's just like, what are we looking at? Like, I laughed so hard when he said that, because it's like, yeah, the audience knows and the character knows, but it's like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I just find that
Right.
so funny. And then oh no, it's like, oh my goodness, this character, like I said, there's something nice about having a story where a kind-hearted character. There's no plot twist. Like I said, they easily could have made Perito the villain of. They could have made him the villain in the movie or something like that, where it's like, oh, plot twist, he's bad, or he works for Jack Horner. They could have done some stupid like thing like that. If this was Disney, that would have happened, because Disney is all about, oh, let's do a plot twist where it's like this character that you
Yeah.
thought was nice is evil. It's like, no, it's like not always. Like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous, man. Um,
Well,
because
it's like I mentioned. It's like I mentioned before with Zootopia. Bellwether. She was a plot twist villain that didn't work.
well, yeah, I totally agree with that. It's just one of those things where you don't always have to do a plot twist. Now, sometimes I get it. You do need to do a plot twist, but not always. Um, I don't know. It's just weird in my opinion. Like I said, you don't always have to do a plot twist. You could literally just have introduce a villain in the story, and it's like, no, no, they're the villain. Like, don't get mistaken on that. Like, what I mean, they're the villain. There's something cool about, hey, you get introduced to a villain, and it's like, yeah, like they're a villain all the way through. Like I said, there's no twist. There's something about that I really like. In the story where it's like, no, no, the whole way through the movie, you know who the villain is. Um, was there anything else about this movie that stuck out to you guys? Did you like the ending? Because like I said, I'm not into Shrek, but I'm excited for Shrek 5, honestly, so I can see these characters again. And I like all the reasonings. For example, it makes sense why Puss wants to get the wishing star. It makes sense why Kitty wants to get the wishing star. You know what I mean? Because we find out that Puss left her at the altar at some point between the first and second movie, and it's like, it makes sense why she's so distrusting of people. You know what I mean? Like, it makes so much sense. These characters have such a personality, and this is why they're like this. And it's like, yeah, like I really like that. I really like that. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I liked that part too, and I liked the ending. I like how plus like, oh, we're gonna see some we're gonna go see some friends, and I'm like, oh, and when I heard that line, I'm like, oh, he's because he's referring to Shrek, obviously. So I was like, oh, he's gonna go see Shrek.
You guys think that's how Dead City and Daryl Dixon are gonna end? Like, the character's
Oh
gonna be like,
man,
we're gonna go
no,
see
that'll be
some.
bad.
I don't know.
It
I
works
feel like
for
this.
last. It looks for the. It works for Puss in Boots, the Last Wish. Like it works for a movie like that, like a mix of a kids, like a movie for kids and adults. Like for a movie like that, it works. But with something, when in terms of like a Walking Dead spinoff, like Daryl Dixon, yeah, no, no. At least to
Yeah,
me, no.
yeah. Um, yeah, I see what you're saying, man. It's just that like people want reunions and stuff in both stories. Also, I love this part with Perrito where he's like, oh, he doesn't even realize what Puss did. He's like, oh, and then just his face when he goes, oh, like, oh my goodness, I love
Yeah,
even Perrito is like, oh, that's bad. That's really bad. Like I said, it makes so much sense why Kitty was so um tense in the beginning with Perrito and Puss, because it's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense now why they're like this. And by the way, like I said, how crazy is it that this movie does character development in one movie better than seasons from Fear the Walking Trash? I'm sorry. How crazy is it that in an hour and a half they could do more character development for these characters than that show did in seasons? Like, how? I just. It boggles my mind, man. It just boggles my mind. That's how good this movie is.
yeah.
Well, you can blame Ian and Andy for that. Those idiots.
Yeah, I know. It's like, man, like, have those guys ever seen a good story in their life? Because this is what it looks
No.
like. This is how you do a story. Characters have development, and yeah, like I said, man, dude, the ending. Like I said, I don't know what was my favorite scene in this movie. They're all pretty much any scene with death is my favorite scene. You know what I mean? But so and like I said, Walker Dead. This is why the magic star wouldn't affect Death at all. Remember in the beginning of the fight, which by the way, I think they said that was like a parody of what was it, like some kind of Western movie where all these characters were gonna do a gun shootout. Whatever, they said it was from an old movie, like a parody of that, and we have the fight scene and all that. Like I said, when you see Death whistling and he just walks through the star like the magic, which by the way killed which killed one of Jack's henchmen and almost killed Puss, almost killed the bear, like, and Death just walks through it like nothing. Like, once again, that shows you that the magic doesn't affect him. Like, which is just crazy, man.
Right.
Yeah, and he's just like, who is that? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I love it. I love his eyes. Oh my goodness. Like I said, this is how you do a villain. He's terrifying. He is like a perfect as a villain. Like I said, no flaws with him. He's terrifying, and even like Death knew when like to eventually like it's like, yeah, I want to kill you now. It's like kind of thing, which made sense.
Yeah.
Which is just like, see what I mean? Like, he got a hit in like in this movie. Death was holding back. You know what I mean? Because remember, in this movie, they established that Death is one in physical form, and two, he's enjoying this. He's enjoying a challenge. He likes a challenge. So, like, what did you think when he made his sickles into this? Like, I'm just like, oh my goodness, it was
Uh,
insane when he turned into a staff. Like, oh my goodness, it's just, oh my goodness, this fight scene was amazing, man. Like I
yeah.
said,
No, I was just
what
gonna say,
was it?
yeah. When he did it, I'm like, oh, and then he just cut, and then that part where he uses his name to cut one of Puss's like feet. I'm like, oh, and then he just pushing them with it.
I know.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
like see in the line too here is like you really got to stop losing that. It's like I said, okay, how is it that Death himself, an entity, has more personality than a lot of characters I've seen, human characters than I've seen in a story? Like it's just crazy. You know, he could be very angry, he could be very chill and calm and very like snarky and like he's just you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's just so crazy to me. And like I said, they tie it in where it's like people legit thought Def was gonna kill him here. And look at that Catito knife. It's like like I said, it calls back to it. You know, and this animation, it's so amazing. In my opinion, this is the future of movies. You know, people want to see animation, not more live action. Because like look at the animation is just so good. You know, everything looks like a picture. The
Yeah,
quality is amazing. Um, yeah, it's just it's all great, man. Everything is just absolutely great. I like I said, no flaws with this movie. I have no flaws with this movie. I want to see more movies like this in the future. I don't care if they're kids movies or whatever. Like if we can get more stories like this, then it's like I'll watch them, man. Like because the quality is just amazing. Like I said, they go back to the beginning where Puss is like pick it up, and then Dev just looks at him like, "Oh, you did not just say that." Like I said, it's just such a good like I said, man. Puss learns in this movie. He gets character development. He no longer is gonna do the wish, and the way Death growls, and it like I said, it's just so good because in this movie, if Puss actually defeated Death like full on, I would have been so mad because you cannot defeat Death. Like, but the fact that Death let him go because he has to, because Puss values his life now, so he can't just take it like prematurely like he wanted to. You know what I mean? Like I said, it shows that like wow, they actually wrote a way for this villain to be defeated without defeating him. You know what I mean? Like like oh my goodness, and that spin when he puts the sickles back. That is sick, man. Like I said, um if you could like if your reboot Dominic Purcell General Beale has even just parts like this, I'm like, dude, that would be amazing. Like as far as like similar as a villain, like I'll be like, dude, like oh man, that would be so awesome. Obviously
that would
we're
be
we
fantastic.
yeah we're like I said, you know what I mean, like where it's like, hey, you just take parts of him, like or inspiration, like here and there. But yeah, man, it's just like I said, the fact that also he told Puss, we will meet again. He literally basically said that, hey, one day you're gonna die and I will be there. It's like, dude, that's just it's such a good movie, such a good villain. It's just yeah. All right, I think I'm done with that. Nothing in the chat, guys. So yeah, I want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, that that ending was. I said it before. You just said it, like where he tells Puss like, yeah, we are going to be again, and hence, yeah, he will be there when he dies.
Right, that's kind of terrifying to think about. You know what I mean? Like it's like yeah, like you like when the day you die, like I will be there. Like you don't know when, you don't know how, but I will be there. It's like that's terrifying, man. But it makes sense. What this movie showed is like, hey, even to the kids, they're telling them, hey, one day you're going to die. It's gonna happen. There is no escape. You know, which also, by the way, fun fact, there were some theories among the fans where it's like, oh yeah, if even if Puss wished for his 8 lives back, the 9 lives back, whatever, Death could have just killed him like 8 more times. Like I said, it's just oh my goodness. Like I said, it's just he's such a great villain because nothing Puss does it really doesn't change his mind except for at the end where he values his life. That's the one thing where it's like, oh yeah, that's gonna make Death let him go. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
yeah, so yeah, exactly. It just like I said, great villain, man. Why can't more villains be like this? Like honestly, in stories, I don't want to see more redeemable villains or more this. No, it's like make more villains like this in stories where they're terrifying, but they're also really funny and like I don't know, man. It's just crazy that like I said, a kids movie can do this, but Other stories can for some reason. It's like it's ridiculous.
Like for example, AMC's version of Fear,
Oh yeah,
where
yeah, 100%.
you could have had. I mean, in my opinion, they could have. I mean, they could have had some pretty awesome villains. They could have had them. They could. They had. That's the thing too. That if you think about it, that they could have done that, but they didn't do that. But when you look at a movie like The Last Wish, you're like, oh wow, you have a good villain. It's like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. By the way, like the dialogue in this movie too was amazing. When Kitty tells Puss, when he gives him back the map and says, "Get your lives back, but keep them out of mine," it's like, oh man, that's a line. Like that's like a Michonne Rick, the ones who live moment, kind of.
Yeah,
Like you know what I mean? Obviously, this came out first, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, like they like you know what I mean? Even kids movies can show like, hey, there's problems in a relationship. Like I said, Kitty always wanted to be with Puss. It's just that he was so arrogant, so full of himself that she just falls out of love with him, and he acts selfish at times, and that's and then like Santa Coloma was the last straw, but then she was willing to give him a chance again, and then it's like this she thought he was betraying them again. Um, but I mean, he kind of was doing it out of fear mostly. And like I said, man, like this too, like look at that, the Starman. And also, I love how all the characters when they're like about to attack each other, everyone is just like different expressions. I love it. And then like I feel so bad for, I feel so bad for Perrito because like he has no weapon. He's got no weapons. Like it's like dang,
because
it's
I
like
yeah.
poor Perrito, man. It's just so crazy. It's like oh man, it's so
No.
crazy. Like that's what I like about this movie too. Everyone wants this wish. It makes sense why everyone would go crazy for a wish. It makes perfect sense. Like these characters' motives are understandable, but you don't hate. Besides Jack, you don't hate them. Like you know what I mean. And then
Good.
yeah, the characters fight. And like I said, the animation is absolutely amazing. This movie balanced out 9 characters and did it like so well. You know what I mean? With fighting, you know what I mean? Like I said, the animation, the changing camera angles, man, just is amazing. But in my opinion, still the best fighting, obviously, in my opinion, it's still at the end with Puss and Death. But I just still love this fight scene overall. Cause like I said, Jack kills his own henchman. Where it's like I said, he is like, what villain does he remind you of? Like, oh, does he remind you of Trevor? Walker Dead. Does he remind you of Trevor a little bit?
A little.
Where
I mean, to be
as far
fair,
as like,
Trevor wasn't really doing stuff like that. Backstabbing people.
Me personally, if you like, he reminds me of Dimitri from Grand Theft Auto 4, just constantly backstabbing and betraying everyone he comes into contact with.
Oh yeah. yeah,
yeah,
that's a good example. Oh man.
right. Also, another thing they did well in this movie is like the close calls that Puss has. Like he almost gets chopped up. He almost gets this. He almost gets incinerated by the star, wall. Like I said, they do a good job with making you think like, hey, a character could die. Like you know what I mean? Because some people said like, hey, this is a kids movie. You can't kill off characters, and everyone had a personality. No two characters were the same character. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't interchangeable. You know what I mean? Everyone had their characters. You had the bears and Goldie, and she saved their family. Like I said, she was the redeemable antagonist, and like I said, I mean, at least even though Jack was terrible, at least he got what he deserved, right? There's still that. I mean, the way
Oh
Kitty just
yeah.
kicked him in the face, like oh my goodness. Oh yeah, these were the Snow White apples. If you guys didn't know, like I said, this movie did a lot of things with fairy tales, which is just funny. So Kitty is fighting Jack. And like I said, I just love this. She she catches it and then it just throws it right back in his face. It's so funny. I don't know. I just loved it. And then he's like, wait, let's bury the hatchet. And then she kicks him in the bag. Like it's like shut up, dude. Like and he falls in the bag. Oh my goodness, she was just done
Couldn't
with him.
stand that character. Really.
Yeah, I know. I totally
Couldn't
agree.
stand that guy.
Um,
Hate him.
yeah, like I said. Also, by the way, how interesting is it that Death and Perito are the only characters that don't care about the wish? They don't want it. And like I said, man, oh my goodness, I love that they kept Perrito a sweet character all the way through. Because, like I said, it's refreshing to see in a story, and and also these characters are so dark and depressing, and they have trauma, and Perrito is just so kind. It's just it's refreshing to see. The
Yeah.
fact that he's like, yeah, I don't want this wish. I have everything I need. It's like that's so refreshing in the story because because I need that now. I need to remind myself of Perito sometimes when I'm sad or depressed because I legit have to remind myself I have everything I need in life. I don't need more. Like legit, like
Right.
this is a good lesson for kids. For Puss, he learns that he's not going to live forever. He has to make the most out of life he can. And Kitty learns that hey, people you love and trust, they're going to disappoint you. They're going to hurt you, not always on purpose. It happens, and you have to accept that in life. In order, so she went through a character arc too, and Perito didn't really go through much of a character arc. But like I said, he was the hopeful character to Puss because Puss was so depressed and stuff. And like I said, in this movie, I don't think you could take out any character and it works the same way. Maybe except Jack, but that's the only one where it's like, yeah, maybe the movie could have worked without Jack. But other than that, it's like, yeah. Um, like I said, it's such a good movie. Um, like I said, and then obviously,
Hey,
Puss hears the whistle. Yeah, go ahead.
hey, Brian.
Yeah,
I,
go ahead.
I I guess in a way, I guess in a way, another villain that's not really a twist villain would be Scar from The Lion King. If you think about it, he was a villain from start all the way to the end when he died.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, exactly. See, they knew Disney in the past. They introduced a villain, and we're like, yeah, this is gonna be the villain. And then yet some people still say Scar is one of the best Disney villains, even though there's no twist with him other than him killing his brother. That's the only twist in the movie. What he does. That's it. Not who he is as a person. Like I said, also, yeah, Kitty was like, I thought you were being melodramatic when he said death was after you. It's like, oh, that's funny. Like I said, this movie just does so many things so well. And yeah, I agree. Scar is one of, like, Scar killed his own brother. This is a kid's movie. And yet, kids were able to handle that. You know what I mean? Like I said, you can do stories, dark stories for kids. You can do it because kids have to learn that hey, this is a dangerous world, and Puss in Boots teaches a lot about the world. Puss learns that hey, he's not going to live forever. Kitty learns that hey, people you love are going to disappoint you. They're going to hurt you, and uh, you know, and then I guess Perito kind of learns that hey, like some things are you have to take things seriously sometimes, and there are moments of seriousness. They have to watch out for. Goldie learns to appreciate what she has. Like I said, characters go through character development. This is what you do in stories. Oh, by the way, did you guys like the part where they were so suspicious of Perito? Where it's like, remember they went to the dark forest and like the maps were terrible for them, and then they give Perito the map, and then it's just like, oh, like his is like all happy and stuff, and then she's like, no fair. Why does he get the good one? Like, and then he's just like, oh, I don't want to do anything. And they're like, you hold the map, and it's like, and she's like, don't cross me, or your name will be Perro Muerto, which means dead puppy. And he's just like, okay. It's like, oh my goodness. Like I said, this movie does so many things right. The comedy, the seriousness, it's just everything is so well done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
I
I love
totally.
that. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I totally agree because that's how you, in my opinion, that's how you do it. And that's how you that's how you do stuff within a story. That's how you have it, connect.
Right. And I think what's so also what I also another reason why I love Death as a villain is physically he is the strongest villain in the movie. That's also another thing. He is the most powerful, the strongest villain. And like I said, I am so how many of you like okay, I'm raising my hand. How many of you guys are sick and tired of the villain who, oh, I have henchmen. I let them do my dirty work for me. I do this and that. That was partially Jack because he let his henchmen do his stuff, but he got them killed. So he's willing to do dirty stuff himself. With Death, he didn't have henchmen. Like Goldie, she used her family too. So with Death, He doesn't have henchmen. Like that's one of the reasons why I loved him as a villain. It's because they didn't do another villain that's old, can't fight. Oh, he just is a plot twist villain. He tricks the protagonist, and that's the worst thing he does or can do. No, you have an antagonist that literally is strong enough to murder the protagonist. Unlike a lot of villains we've seen in stories. Like, you know what I mean? Can you guys think of a villain in a story that like is like more powerful than the main character? Like, I feel like Thanos was the last villain we had like that before death. Before death, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many villains were like, oh yeah, this villain can kill the main character, the hero, like legitimately,
Scar.
like what?
Scar from Lion King was pretty powerful.
Yeah. What about you, Walker Dead?
In terms of
in my
Marvel,
opinion.
like the MCU, yes, I mean the last villain to do that was Thanos, but but before Thanos, I mean
Right, right. It's hard to it's
maybe
hard to think.
Loki, maybe, but maybe Loki. I know some people would disagree, and then again some people say, oh, it's 50-50, but then again it's like, well, with Loki, at least, I mean, the original version of Loki, back when he was a villain, he did kill people. He did show himself as a threat, but
Yeah.
Thanos was above that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, see what I mean? Like, I wish we could have more villains like Thanos, like Heath Ledger Joker, like Avatar's villains, like Death. I want more villains that are terrifying, that are like, oh my goodness, this villain can kill the main character, the hero. Um, you know what I'm saying? Because I am sick and tired of these villains that are like, oh, they have henchmen to do their dirty stuff for them. Or they're old. Like I said, enough with the old villains that just order their henchmen to do their stuff. Like, it's just such a cliche at this point. Bellwether, it's not just like Walking Dead. It's a lot of things. Like, okay, Bellwether from Zootopia, and other villains like, I mean, Jack technically, and then Goldie too. I'm not saying they were bad. I'm just saying, like I said again, they had henchmen or whatever. It's nice to see a story where they're like, no, the main villain is the bad guy. Like, he legit can kill the main hero, the main character, because he's better than him. Like, you know what I mean? It feels so rare to see that. Like, let's remember Thanos. Thanos was so powerful, all the Avengers had to team up against him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just like, like, it's not just, oh, stab him in the neck or something. Like, no, that's not how you defeat Thanos as a villain or Death. Like, it's so nice and refreshing to see a villain where it's like, you take him seriously. It's
Right.
really nice.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
My main issue with Bellwether from Zootopia is the fact that she was stupid enough to literally get tricked by Nick and Judy into revealing her plans.
Right,
Yeah, that was pretty.
exactly.
I watched Utopia, but I heard that was a twist, and it was pretty bad.
It definitely wasn't great, man. One thing I'll say though, for Zootopia 2, they should have, like I said, I've been suggesting this for years. They should have the main villain in Zootopia 2 be this wolf character, and he's introduced somewhat in the beginning, and the movie is like, no, there's no twist with this villain. He's the villain. Like, he's, or this character, like, they're not gonna do a twist where he's like, he acts like he like acts like a nice guy to Nick and Judy or something, or they get tricked and he betrays them, and then it's revealed he's the villain. No, the whole movie, the characters know he's the villain. That in my opinion, that's what they should do, because it would just be so refreshing. Like, where they're like, no plot twist with this villain. This is the villain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because yeah, I just think that would do Disney wonders, man. Because I'm so sick and tired of the twist villains, and like I said, even when they don't do twist villains, like in How to Train Your Dragon, the first villain was a dragon, doesn't count, and then the second movie was Drago, and I don't know, he was okay, like he wasn't really good, he was just okay, and then the third guy, Grimble, was just okay, like I don't know, I wasn't scared of him, like you know what I mean, I don't know, but like I'm not saying that like the movies were bad. I'm just saying like the villains, I didn't really feel for the How to Train Your Dragon villains. But Avatar: The Last Airbender, oh my goodness, Azula and Zahir as villains, were great villains. Avatar: The Last Airbender did a great job with villains. Um, I hardly can think of one bad
And
villain in that show.
uh,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
and, and also, how many villains in entertainment do you actually see them like execute their plans perfectly? Like I mentioned with Scar, he had a plan to kill Mufasa, and he executed it perfectly. He killed Mufasa's brother, and
Yeah,
he was going to kill Simba too, but Simba got away, and he sent his hyenas after Simba, but again he got away, and that eventually led to his downfall.
right, exactly. Yeah, I don't know, man. It movies haven't really done a villain wins in a while. Like the last one I feel like was Thanos. Technically because yeah, I mean remember when Thanos snapped his fingers? My jaw dropped to the floor. I'm like, he snapped? Are you kidding me? Like I'm like he snapped his fingers? I did not expect that. Cuz this is Avengers Infinity War. It's like you don't expect that.
Yeah,
Like I said,
especially when I was in the theater watching the film, I was like, because I'm here thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm here thinking okay, is Thor really actually is he really about to chop off Thanos' head? Like, is he really about to do that? And then the next scene pans out where Thanos like, oh, you should have gone for the head. And then he snaps his face. Hey, what the fuck? I mean, what?
right, exactly. Like that's what we need in villains. Like besides the governor and beginning, Negan, back in season 8, sorry, season 6 to a little bit of 7, and then like maybe Teddy a little bit in the beginning. Like you don't really, I don't know, there's something about a villain that like doesn't care about anything else other than completing his mission. Like Thanos was like, yeah, I can die. Like I don't care. And like like I said, man, Thanos from beginning to end of Infinity War is just such a great villain, man. He's such a great villain. Um, you know what I mean? Like his dialogue, he's terrifying too. Remember when he teleports to Wakanda and then Bruce is like, Cap, that's him. Like everyone was terrified. They're like, it's like, oh no, he's here. Like it's like, oh man, that's how you do a villain, man. Like I said, and when Death shows up and everyone's looking at him, this is how you do a villain. When he enters the room, everyone shuts up and is like, oh snap. That's how you do a villain. No twist villains. No, just no, like, or villains that are like, or that villains that like Martha, Logan, or Virginia. I'm sorry, I have to say it again. Like it's just, oh man, those I can't even call them villains.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I'm at, and like for example, and I feel like I have to bring this up. Like with DC, like with Batman, I'm like sure Batman does have a few interesting villains, like Joker, for example. But I feel like Batman needed a villain that's 10 times worser, and I feel like that's why I created my robot, because my robot is like, well, it's like with Matt Robot, it's like, okay, you don't know who he is. Like you don't like his identity, like you don't know his real name. Like he's very mysterious. He's very, he's very terrifying. He's very, he's very smart. Like he's always thinking ahead. But it's like, okay, what's he thinking? Like what is he really thinking in his mind? Does he have what it takes to actually kill Bruce/Batman. And I feel like Batman needed a villain like that, where it's like, well, with this villain, it's not like it's different. It's not like Joker, where if you defeat him, he goes to jail. No, no. With Mad, the way I did him, it's like, okay, he's supposed to be he's meant to be a different Batman villain, where it's like, okay, could he kill Batman? And if so, it's like oh damn, this
Yeah.
this is insane. Like this has never been done before, where you actually have a
Yeah.
Batman villain actually killing the hero, actually killing your main protagonist. And I feel like DC needs something like that. I feel like DC needs to step that up. I feel like if DC was to have something like that, man, people will go
Yeah.
crazy. Like, oh my gosh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Hold on. Chosen says, "Are you saying Martha isn't the best villain ever?" Hot take. Of
No.
course not, Chosen. I'm not saying Martha isn't the best villain ever. I'm denying her villainy. I'm completely denying her
Garbage.
villainy. Like she's not even worthy of being called a villain. All right. Go ahead, Nick.
So, like, you agree with what I said earlier about Scar, how he enacted his plan to kill his brother and to kill Simba, but then he told Simba to run and never come back, and then he asked his hyenas to kill him, and then Simba got away, and that led to his downfall. How do you feel about that?
It's fine. I kind of feel like Simba should have been the one to take out Scar, not the hyenas. That just, in my opinion, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Obviously with the movie, like I said, that's kind of a flaw I have with it. But like, it's fine. It makes sense because he underestimated Simba and he overestimated the hyenas, so it's fine. Um, so yeah. Okay, guys. Hey, guys. Another 10, 20 minutes maybe, and I'm ending the stream. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I gotta end the stream another 10 or 20 minutes. But yeah, so like I said, guys, I gushed a lot in this movie, and especially with death. But here's one of the reasons why I did that. Because I am a entertainment consumer. When I watch something, I want to be involved. I want to be in love with the story, the characters, the world, everything. And when I saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, it like instantly became the best animated movie of all time, or at least up there. I would say definitely top five best animated movies of all time, and maybe top five movies. Like I said, because they took their time with it. They made the best villain ever. Okay, his design, his voice, his arc, his mission, everything like with Death was just perfection. Like in fact, it was more. It was 11 out of 10. And like I said, with the characters, they went through an hour and a half of character development. Meanwhile, we watched 10 seasons of a show. Sorry, not 10 seasons. 10 episodes, 10 hours. Yeah, no, 16 episodes, 10 hours of a show, and we don't see any character development from characters. Like I said, it just really shows that hey, kids movies and stuff, they can be amazing too. I watched a pilot called Lackadaisy, last year, whatever. Like I said, entertainment, animation is changing, okay? We don't always have to watch live action stuff. If you guys like something, even if it's for kids, if you like the story and characters, that is perfectly fine. Because, like I said, sometimes kids' movies and stuff can do things better than adult shows, like villains. It's simple as that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's all I
and
have
I
to say.
totally agree. But I want to ask you about like, did you agree with what I just said a few minutes ago? Like with Matt Robot being the villain
Yeah,
that
yeah.
DC needs.
I, yeah, yes and no. Here's what I'll say. I don't know much about your villain, but I trust you. It's your story. But I always thought of like I feel like there should be a Dark Bat villain. Like his name's Dark Bat or something, or I don't know. Where he's like I said, he's like an evil Batman or something like that, but he's different. I don't know. It's just in my opinion. I guess you can say kind of like the Arkham Knight, but like I said, they ruined him so much. Like in my opinion, I think the Joker is Batman's number one villain overall. But if I had to come up with like my own villain or something where it's like, hey, don't use Joker, he's so overused. I would,
Yeah,
my character would be like the Dark Bat or something like that, where like I said, there's a man bat. Yeah, but no, he's just a monster. He's not. He's just a dumb monster. He's not a real villain.
yeah.
Like I said,
I
in
mean,
my
to be
opinion,
fair, not to, I mean, to be fair, and not going to be off here. I mean, there is already a Dark Batman, that being the Batman Who Laughs. I guess you could kind of
oh no,
basically
oh
say
no,
he is Dark Batman.
I don't like
But I
that.
don't.
I don't like that. That character design. It's not just the name and what the character does. Like the design too. Here's one thing I'll say: you gotta be careful when you design your villain because if his design is not cool, nobody will like that villain. I'm sorry, like the Dark Bat or the Bat Who Laughs. Like he looks stupid. He looks so stupid. Like it's so dumb. No, I meant like a guy who's like Batman. He's like, but he wears like a very interesting bat suit, and he's just unlike Batman. He kills, and he's like very smart. And like I said, in my opinion, that would be maybe like the greatest Batman villain of all time. But like I said, it's not like we're ever gonna see that in a story. You know, but yeah,
Hey, Brian.
yeah. Go ahead, man.
So, me personally, I think the thing with How to Train Your Dragon is like they didn't want the villains to be like these memorable icons that we remember forever. I think they wanted the main characters, Toothless, Hiccup, characters like that to be more iconic than the villains, but that's me.
It's definitely possible, Nick. It's definitely possible, but like I said, a story is only as good as a story really is only as the hero in a story is only as good as his villain. And when you don't have a good villain in the story, you kind of make the hero look lame. Like I said, it like why do you think Fear the Walking Dead sucks so much? It's because when you see the villains and the heroes are lame, it's like, oh man, like they're all lame. It's all lame. Like, so, yeah.
Well,
So like,
yeah, but that's just my opinion. Is I feel they wanted to pick up and Toothless to be the iconic standouts in that trilogy. You know.
yeah, I know. But like I said, they are. Hiccup and Toothless do stand out in that trilogy, that franchise. It's just that, yeah, I agree. The villains should have stood out a little bit more. They kind of messed up a little bit there, but it's, like, not. Here's the thing, though. Not everyone can do amazing villains. Getting a villain right is kind of hard, because, like I said, you have to make them terrifying. You have to make them look cool, terrifying at the same time. You have to make the voice actor has to be amazing. His role in the movie has to be amazing. Not very many villains have done a good job with that. Heath Ledger Joker, Thanos, and Death. Like, those are like the only three movie villains that have ever really perfected like being a villain in the movie with the hero. Like, it's really like rare. You hear there's a planned live action How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, I heard that Chosen. I'm not excited for that. I heard Astrid, who is a white blonde Norse Viking girl. She's gonna be black. Uh, I heard that, and I'm like, what? I'm like, come on. I'm like,
Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Oh
no,
my
no, it's
gosh.
confirmed. Astrid's gonna be black.
Wow. I can't say I'm surprised.
Oh yeah, man. They want to make it woke. Like,
Oh, like they did with Marvel Spider-Man 2 in some areas. Like, oh, let's make it woke. I mean, no, it doesn't work.
yeah. Hey, you want to know why Puss in Boots-The-Last-Wish also was amazing? There's no
Because
wokeness
it
to it.
wasn't woke. No, there
Yes.
is nothing like that. That was one of the best. I kid you not. When I first saw the movie, I kid you not. I'm like, this is what we need. I'm like, this is what we need. We need decent villains, decent writing, decent storytelling. This is what we need. This is what we need. This is what I'm talking about. This should be the future of not just animation, but of writing and of storytelling in general. This is what we need, man.
I agree, man. Like, people who make shows and movies, like, should watch this and be like, okay, we need a villain. And just like and they watch Death and they're like, you guys want to do something similar to him? Because like I said, this villain, sorry, not villain, this movie has perfected a lot of things. Okay, Puss's arc was great. So was Kitty's. Perrito, great comic relief character. Goldie's arc with the bears and the family dynamic. That was great. Jack is a scumbag, unredeemable. Sometimes stories should do that too. Sometimes in stories you need that unredeemable villain. Like I have with Trevor, okay? Because fun fact, Walker Dead, I told you this before, he is not at all gonna be redeemed. Like in
No.
season 5. Like he's not gonna be redeemed. There's not gonna be a scene where a character where we find out he has a tragic backstory and it's like, oh, I kind of feel bad for him. Like maybe he's not so bad. No, I'm not doing that. Because he's a scumbag. It doesn't matter what he's been through. He has to die for what he's done. He's done so much horrible stuff. Like it's just sometimes stories need that.
Yeah. And
I
yeah,
thought you were.
I totally agree.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, Nick.
No. Like I was gonna say, like I thought you were talking about Trevor from GTA 5, but then I realized it's probably a character from your Extinction series.
Yeah, he is. But fun fact, Nick, he actually was partially inspired, slightly, because when Trevor Stephen Ogg, you know what I mean, when he came into The Walking Dead and everyone kept calling him Trevor, Negan's right hand man, his name is Trevor. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take some inspiration from that. You know, that's why I named him Trevor. I'm like, oh, okay. Simon's real name wasn't Trevor in the main show, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a villain named Trevor. Similar to Steve Ogg from Grand Theft Auto a little bit. Like, they're different characters, but still, like, what I basically did, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have an absolute scumbag character, like, and his name's Trevor too. Like, I don't know, I just decided to go with that. Like I said, this movie, it's great, no flaws with it whatsoever, and I really wish more movies would be like this because fun fact, DreamWorks released a couple of movies after this, and they bombed. They did the Kraken movie. They did Kung Fu Panda 4, and then or was it 5? No, it was 4, I think. Like yeah, and they did Megamind 2, and they were terrible. Like I said, it's like, oh man, DreamWorks, you were just getting back into it. This is why I prefer quality over quantity. Because when you get movies like this with perfect quality, dude, like fun fact, when I went to did I went to Romania? I had a long flight one time, like a year or so ago, or around less than a year. I don't know, it was last year. I had a long flight. I watched Puss in Boots on the flight like 3 times. I watched the movie like 3 times in a row on the flight. It's that good, okay? Like, there are not many movies in the world that have come out that you can rewatch multiple times in a row. There really isn't. And and the funny thing is, I don't watch Puss in Boots all the time, this movie, because I'm working on Extinction, I'm helping my family, I'm doing other stuff. But when I have time to watch this and talk about it, I'm like, yeah, this movie, like I said, it's worth it, man. I honestly don't. This movie got a lot of reception, like great reception, and I can see why. I don't think there's going to be a third one though, and to be fair, that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to see Puss, Kitty, and Perrito in Trek 5, and I'm like, you know what? That's good. Like, I'm good. This movie, like, I'll remember it for a long time, like, because it's just that good, man.
And me personally, I'm actually not the biggest Shrek fan either.
I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of Shrek, I really enjoyed part 1 and part 2, but that was pretty much it. I never got into part 3. I never got into part 4 as much. I mean, like 3 and 4. I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't. I mean, it wasn't really my cup of tea. I mean, part 1 and part 2, forget it. Those 2 Shrek movies are classics in my opinion. But in terms of like the other movies, I wasn't into it.
No, like I'm mainly talking about his character. Like he's rather unlikable to me. Like he's just a jerk to the people around him for no reason. I find like he's just very unlikable to me. I'm not the biggest fan of his character.
I mean, what do you think,
Yeah,
bro?
same. Same. I'm not crazy on Shrek as a character. Like as far as protagonist, I just don't think he does it for me. Like, he's not my favorite type of protagonist in a story. He just really isn't. I prefer other antagonist types. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah. Like for example, I like protagonists where it's like, hey, you know, I like protagonists where it's like, hey, at the start they're a very shy, weak person or something, and then they get stronger through the movie, and then they become braver, and then this, and then also I like movies where it's like, hey, there's this character that everyone hates, is the fears, like the Wolf Among Us, like a wolf-like character where it's like, hey, everyone is terrified of him, but deep down he's actually a really nice person if you give him a chance. But then also in the movie, it's like, hey, there's parts to him where it's like he is dangerous, and that comes in handy in certain times. I like those two type of protagonists. The protagonist, like I said, the protagonist that's weak in the beginning gets stronger, and then the strong protagonist in the beginning where people fear him, but he deep down he's kind of a nice guy. Those are my two favorite protagonists in stories. But the whole Shrek, he's an ogre thing, and like I don't know, that's not my favorite type of protagonist. Like I said, because the way he comes off to um, one of the most relatable characters ever made. That's even the plot of the first movie is simple. It's beloved. Yeah, it's simple, but it's just not for me. You know what I mean? Chosen. Um, so yeah, those are my two favorite types of protagonists. Where, like I said, you have a nice person in the beginning that gets stronger, and then you have someone like Bigby Wolf, at the beginning where, like everyone, like I said, they fear him. He's really strong, powerful, dangerous, but like deep down, like it's like he's actually a nice guy if you give him a chance, but also he's very dangerous too. Like, a bit of both. Like, so yeah.
Right.
Like I said it before that I do prefer Puss in Boots over Shrek. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about, like last minute? Another 5-10 minutes and I'm ending the stream.
Yeah. In terms of like DC, I don't know. I feel like I don't. I know you mentioned that you don't know much about my Batman villain, my original Batman villain, Matt Robot, but I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like he's the type of villain DC needs. I'm sick of. In my opinion, I'm just sick of whenever DC does a villain, it's a one and done, where it's like, oh, Batman stops this villain and then the villain goes to jail. Like with Joker, for example. I'm kind of. I feel like we need more villains. Well, or sorry, a villain that's like, that actually doesn't go to jail, but succeeds in killing the protagonist. I feel like that's something DC needs because, like, even with the Batman Who Laughs, that character was just
No, no.
that character was that character, for example, was just done like a few times, and I'm like, well, it's like they kind of wasted him. Same with Dark Knight. It's like there
Oh
was some
yeah, they
potential
wasted
here, but
all
they
of
kind
them.
of wasted the character within the last minute. And I look at Matt Robot. I'm like, this is the villain DC needs. Like enough with the hero always wins. The hero always wins. And how about we finally get a villain that's menacing, terrifying, mysterious, and actually wins?
Well, if the villain wins, then there's no story, so there's a bit of an issue there.
True.
Chosen says you just described part of Shrek while talking about Bigby. He's tough, but actually a kind guy when you get to know him. That's the point of the first movie. Yeah, I know what you mean, Chosen. It's just with the way it was with Shrek. I just like you just said it was part of Shrek when I was talking about Bigby, but it's a little bit different. Shrek, um, I just don't know. I don't fit with his character. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying that it's not my cup of tea. And like you might say, like, oh well. Here's the thing though. There's a big difference between Shrek and Bigby. For Bigby, um, yes, both Shrek and Bigby, they're looked down upon by their communities. Here's the thing though. The difference is that Shrek, um, is I don't know. He's kind of like not likable in parts of the movie, whereas in my opinion, Bigby is like all the way throughout the game likable as a character. And then also, Shrek is also not dangerous. Right, right. Shrek movie is about not to judge a book by its cover. Yeah, I know what you mean. What I meant is not judge a book by its cover in the dangerous sense. Like Shrek was not dangerous. You know what I mean? He wasn't terrifying to people. He was just like people didn't like him because he was ugly. Also, he was really gross. Like I'm sorry, that has to go without saying. Shrek is gross, and I cannot do a gross protagonist. I'm sorry, I can't. Um, but I see what you're saying. They're similar in those ways, but it's still like not the same. Like Bigby is the perfect version of that, in my opinion. Same thing with Benjamin, the main character in my series. Like it's this character that is very feared by a lot of people and very dangerous and has trauma, has problems, and yet that trauma helps the characters in the long run in certain situations. But also he has a good heart deep down. Like like I said, that's my favorite of the protagonists. Okay, guys, another 5-ish minutes, and then I'm ending the stream. Was there any final thoughts you wanted to? Was there any final thoughts about this movie? Did you guys know that was Goldilocks in the movie with the bears? Did you guys immediately pick up on that?
Yes,
I
I
did.
did.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a few people were like, "That's Goldilocks and three bears." I'm so dumb. How did I not know that? Yeah, some people were like
Hey,
that. That's
Brian.
yeah. Go ahead.
So, how do you feel when I said that I prefer Puss over Shrek?
I'm totally fine with that. I kind of agree. I think Puss is from what I saw in The Last Wish, his character is definitely more interesting than what we got. Because I've seen the Shrek movies, I've seen them. It's just I don't know. Just Shrek is not the best protagonist in my opinion. Like I said, um, but like the way Puss was in this movie, like he was very interesting. All the way through. People were scared of Shrek in the first few minutes of the film. They flee from him. Same with Shrek 4. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just that like Shrek. I don't get why though. It's like yeah, Shrek is gross, but like he's not. He's like literally the same size as any human being. Like he's not. There's nothing about Shrek that's dangerous, really. You know what I mean? He's just ugly. He's just gross. Like it's just that's literally the only thing that makes him not human in a way. Um, what I'm saying is with Bigby though, it's completely different. Bigby looks like a human, but he wolfs out. He gets sharp teeth, red eyes, and claws. He can tear out off your limbs, like if he gets angry. Like he's that type of character protagonist where I love it because he's very dangerous if you piss him off. Like I said, whereas with Shrek, uh, all he can do is yell if he's mad. Whereas with Bigby, like I said, he will tear your head off. Something about that as a protagonist that I just love. It's nice to see a protagonist that's not a Boy Scout. Like I said, the fact that Bigby Wolf is a protagonist that will like, hey, you piss him off, he'll tear your head off. Like if you piss him off enough. Like I said, that just makes him such an interesting protagonist. I don't know. I haven't noticed that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, guys.
And then I wanted to ask you, Brian, real quick.
Go ahead.
Go on.
No, go
No, I
ahead.
was just gonna say, like, do you agree with what I just said a few minutes ago that Batman needs a villain like Matt Robot, where he's like mysterious and stuff like that?
Maybe. I will say they definitely need to do some villains that are not just a Joker. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I feel like instead of doing like one of the things I don't like about the Batman Arkham games is that they kept overusing Joker. And I'm like, well, why are you going to overuse Joker when you have you have Scarecrow, you have Ivy, you have Mr. Freeze, you have Mad Hatter, and then there's other villains you could, adapt, like Ratcatcher, and then there's Ventriloquist, and then there's other villains. You don't have to just go with Joker, or with some of the originals. There are other villains you can use, and I feel like with the Arkham games, they kept overusing Joker. I'm like, why are you going to overuse Joker? Even in the shows too. I'm like, just I'm like, no, stop overusing some of the villains people already know, like Joker. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Also, one thing also, by the way, another thing I liked in this movie, the bears were bears, the cats were cats, and the dog was a dog, and obviously Death was a wolf. Um, because yeah, I like that. In the movie, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness, certain scenes remember they fell down? It's like, Puss, I found a sandwich in here. I think it's tuna fish, and then he eats it later. Like I said, Perrito is hilarious. He goes after that stick that Puss threw. Like I'm like, okay, that's hilarious. He also pants like a dog. Like I said, he's a dog. He does that, and the cats too. Puss and Kitty, they act like cats. It's so funny when they act like cats in the movie because it's like, yeah, they're cats. And then the bears too, same thing, and the same thing with Death. He's a wolf, and the way the way the way he moves, it's like a wolf too. The way he like growls and like barks or whatever, like a wolf. It's like it's so well done. You know what I mean? Like that they keep these characters, like they're animals, like because that's what they are. Like I said, the animation is great. The songs were great too. I absolutely loved the songs too. You know what I mean? This movie, it wasn't a musical, but yeah, the songs were really good. They knew how to do the panic attack scene. I'm serious. Like that panic attack scene with Puss and Perrito, it got so popular because legit people were like, yeah, this is a legit how panic attacks work in real life. Hey, look at that. The main hero, the main character had a panic attack. Do you see that in movies? No, you don't see that in movies because in movies they don't want to show the main hero being scared or whatever, but that's life, okay? Because if the hero is not scared, then how do you relate to them? Because, like, you get what I'm saying.
Right. And
Hey,
I agree.
Brian.
I feel like if you don't do that, then how are you going to flesh out your main protagonist or any character?
Hey, Brian. I find it funny how you brought up how most of the animals in this movie act like the animals that they actually are, and yet the freaking wolf in the Shrek movies with the freaking pink bonnet and the pajamas
Yeah,
doesn't act like a wolf whatsoever.
yeah, Death. He's the true big bad wolf, in my opinion. Like I said, um, yeah, that's just simply how it works. Like I said, it's because it took time to make this movie. They took their time with it. They put the quality in. I mean, yeah. And by the way, like I said, with Death, the red eyes, the cloak, and all that, I am so sick and tired of seeing Death as a skeleton or whatever in movies or shows or whatever. It's such a cliche, but putting him as a wolf with red eyes, it's like so much better. One thing I don't like though is how they brought back three bears. The mom bear dies in Shrek 1. Yeah, I remember you saying that, Chosen. I think they just like retconned that. It's simply I think the writers just retconned it. Where it's like, yeah, that wasn't Mama Bear, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Which, by the way, like I said, there was death in this movie, guys. Remember the part where the flower eats people? Remember the part where they fall off the cliff? This movie had death in it. I mean, not just the wolf death, but death, the other version of death.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like I know I brought him up a couple of times, but I'm sorry. Like the frickin' wolf in the Shrek movies is just such a joke.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah,
Mhm.
Death. He Death in this movie destroys him. Best villain of all time. Um, hey guys, I'm gonna end the stream now. Do you have any last minute questions you want to ask really quick?
Hey,
Yeah, my
Brian.
last main question for you would be like, do you see my version do you see reboot General Beale being not just the General Beale we should have gotten, but a lot like, Death from the Last Wish? Like, do you see that?
Oh man, that would be amazing. I would explode. That. Oh my goodness, I am just freaking out. That would be amazing. Like he looks awesome. He's terrifying. He's also every time he's talking, like everyone shuts up. He just grabs the attention. Like I said, he's terrifying, incredibly skilled. These are all things where it's like, man, if you take that inspiration from Death, it's like, oh man, I am going to love him as a villain. Honestly, uh, yeah, man. I hope you do, man. At least parts here and there, because like, dude, that would be amazing.
But yeah, like just imagine this. Like General Beale's like interacting or imagine like a certain character, like imagine, I don't know, like imagine like a certain character is like, enjoying their free time or whatever, and they see General Beal and they just freak out, and then General Beal's like, he does that thing where he's like, with his hands, where he's like, I'm watching you. But he has like he has like glasses, and his look is actually terrifying.
That depends. That depends, man. That depends.
Hey,
It would be cool
Brian.
though. That would be cool. Yeah, go ahead, Nick, and then your last question, and then we're done. So go ahead.
So my last question for you is: do you think the Walking Dead franchise has had too much bad in it, like bad properties and bad writing?
It definitely has had too much. I'm not saying it's majority bad. What I am saying though is the Walking Dead franchise has had too much bad in it. Bad villains, bad writing, bad characters, amazing characters that were ruined thanks to Dumb and Dumber. Bad games,
Characters
bad
that should
this.
never died yet.
Yeah, that too. So yeah, The Walking Dead has had too much bad in it. It has. It has. There should have been more good, but it is what it is. But yeah, overall, I'm still satisfied with the Walking Dead franchise as far as the ones who live, as far as it's over now. But still, like, yeah, we should have gotten more. Yeah, guys. So that's gonna be it for my stream. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, this movie was amazing, straight up. Okay, like I said, so good, man. I'm gonna remember this movie for years, and I look forward to talking about it, in casual conversation here and there in the future. But yeah, guys,
And
thank you guys so much for talking with
Brian,
me.
one more
Okay,
thing:
okay, really quick, Nick, because I really have to go.
do you plan to do a similar stream like this, but with Zootopia?
Yes, for Zootopia 2. Not for the first one. It's been too long. But yes,
Hmm.
for the second movie, yes, I will. All right, guys, Walker Dead, Nick, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and thanks again, guys, for watching this movie and co-hosting with me. I really
Right.
appreciate that because this movie, man, it's amazing, and I'm glad you guys were able to watch and enjoy it. So, with that, I'm gonna
I
wish you
had a
guys,
blast doing this, by
yeah,
the
same,
way.
man, same. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your night and take care. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Right, peace out.
All right, gonna end the stream now. Let's see. End.